What's up, everyone? It's DV, and we're back in Islands. You can see it's the second anniversary, and with the second anniversary, I thought it was time to do a new auto farm. It's been a while since I built one of these for you, and most of the other farms I've done are just kind of repeats. This one is completely unique. You've never seen this one before, and I got a couple disclaimers because I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this video. I'm going to get a lot of hate, and I'm gonna explain why in a minute. But before I go further, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to Slowblocks. Without his help and donating these items and materials, I wouldn't have been able to make this video. Let's just say he didn't really need them anymore. It was one of his alts. Now that comes to my second point is the last time I did an auto farm for watermelons, I got a lot of hate. I have to say I created a lot of haters. A lot of people in the community thought I ruined the economy in the game because I made a watermelon farm. And my watermelon farm, I kid you not, it made like 50 million to 100 million per day. That's not that much. 10 days of non-stop 24/7 grinding. I mean, there's other ways you can make that kind of money. And it's simply just go make a published island. Go make a mall and you'd make even more than what I did in 24 hours grinding. So it was very unfounded. However, this farm is going to be insanely powerful. Based on all the stats that I've been crunching and such, I think this might be one of the most powerful, at least one of the most powerful farms in the game. Now, you know, when you have a bunch of cross traders and hackers making tons of money, I think it's fair that we should be able to make a bunch of money fairly with a real farm. And that's what we're building today. So before I begin though, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And again, huge thanks to Slowblocks for this help, as well as Fuzzy Bubs. Without them, I wouldn't have been able to make this farm. First things first, I'm going to show you everything you need to do with this. It's going to be a pretty cool video. I'm going to show you step by step if you want to make one similar. Now, before I even show you the farm, I'm going to show you the basis of why I believe my farm's one of the best. I'm going to explain some mechanics to you. So first things first, I want to show you some mechanics here that you really need to know in order to be able to understand how to build this thing. Some people don't realize a lot of these mechanics, and it just took a lot of trial and error. But you see this like ball, like spherical thing. Each of these totems have some like range-based buffs, okay? So let me go and reset this so you can see it. So if I were to plant this totem down, and if I go inside here and upgrade, you'll see there's utility, there's efficiency and quality. Utility is going to give us 1% nearby crop growth rate. So what that means is any crops within the range of this totem, they're going to get an extra boot. You know, they're going to actually grow faster. So if I were to max this out, and yeah, it is very expensive, by the way. It's very expensive. See, it used a lot of materials, trust me. So right here, you can see the stats on the left right here is level 53 maxed out. It's going to give me 135% nearby crop growth rate. That means anything within range of this totem. Now, you might be asking, well, what's the range of the totem? Welcome to my range. So you can see this right here. All of this, anything within this area here, in this big giant half sphere, it's kind of half, but it's basically the same down here. So under, it's going to be the same shape as above. I just didn't do all that. But right here, I actually tested all of these sections. So if you were to plant crops on any of these surfaces, it would actually affect it. If you were to plant crops outside of this area or this range, it would not affect it. It's actually like a sphere around your totem, and this is the actual range here. Pretty nuts, right? But you can see any crops like within this area, including crops right here. So see how I open this up? If I were to plant crops on these three sections, this is the absolute range here. These don't affect anything other than themselves. So like efficiency is going to increase the speed of your totem. So what that means is each time it harvests like a crop, it increases the speed of that. And then quality is going to give us more yield. What that means is it's going to give me more crops. So anytime it harvests, it's going to give me more. That is the main piece here that's important. So you have to understand that there are growth buffs per se. So you're going to get a lot faster watermelons growing. They're just going to be faster to grow, okay? They don't grow bigger. They just grow faster. So you don't have to wait the entire like 5.5 minutes or whatever it is to grow one. Just as a note, you can stack them. So if I were to put another one here and then I were to upgrade that, at some point here, you're going to start seeing instantaneous growth almost for your watermelons. You could get it to that point, but it's overkill in my opinion. You have to remember you're going to want to make a really big farm in order to be able to make a lot of money. You don't want to do overkill. Like, yeah, sure, it's cool to see this thing instantly growing. It's like replant, grow, but at some point, not so efficient. What if you wanted to make a ton of crates? Well, that's not the way to go, okay? I'm going to explain this. Efficiency. Your totem can only get as fast as 35 seconds per full loop. Hopefully that makes sense. It can only go up to 35 seconds per harvest. So what that means, it's like a full loop of harvest. So if I were to wait, it's going to be like 12 seconds or so. It's like 12.5 seconds for it to harvest, and then 12.5 seconds for it to replant, and then 12.5 seconds for it to place it on a conveyor. So ultimately, it's like 35 seconds or something like that, 36 seconds, give or take. Now, I like to be on the conservative side of that number because there is such thing as lag. So the bigger your farm, the laggier it gets. Your times are going to start getting skewed. So you got to be careful with that. The other thing I want to mention is at nighttime, you do have an efficiency thing here. Let me show you this. Look at 10% action speed at night. This has to be included in your math or any kind of calculations you're going to be doing because at night, you're going to have so much faster efficiency. So you see, like if I max that out, you have 159% action speed. And on top of that, you're going to have 140% action speed at night. That stacks. What happens happens. If you did all your math during the day and all your tests during the day, and then you ran it at night, your watermelons are not going to be available. So that means you need to test your stuff at night too, which I did. Now there's one more thing I want to show you as you're doing upgrades. If you upgrade your quality, so this is the yield. So you can see right here, its quality is 53. You have 56% product yield for each unique nearby totem type. That's mind-blowing, right? If you read that correctly. Yeah, so the more unique totems you have nearby, the more yield you get. So instead of just getting 3 at a time, you can get a lot more of that. Let me show you my tests. I've got a bunch of totems over here for no reason, right? Obviously, there's no star fruit over here. There's no pineapple over here. There's no pumpkins or anything like that. But you notice I've got a lot of uniques. I've got 9 unique totems here. You'll notice this thing has given us 8 watermelon as a result of that, right? I can eat this avocado toast, which is truffle avocado toast. And if I consume it, I'm going to get plus 20% farming drop yield. Now watch this. If I eat it, I get a buff. This is another effect. And then, so now we're going to be able to go to 10. There we go. So notice I just got 10 watermelon from that. And that's because I ate this. And on top of that, I've got 9 unique totems here. So there are a lot of different things you need to keep in mind. And this is all through a ton of testing. I spent hours on this testing, okay? I spent like over 10 hours testing this stuff, timing things, doing the math on them, trying to see like the ranges. I tested all the different ranges for effects, positioning for farms. So now that you understand I did my research and I've done tons of tests, let's show you how to build a farm. Now, one thing to note, I am going to be using an alt for this build. First thing you can see, I've just got this island here. It's pretty much empty. I just destroyed my island. I can't get to the hub, unfortunately, but that's okay. So I've got builds on this account, and you can see I just made like this little platform here. And I'm just going to be using andesite since I have so much of it. So we're going to go up 9. So in order to be able to get up here, we are going to be using a slime block. They're really easy to make if you don't have them. And this is how we're going to be getting up on things. You know, and you want to have as much space as you can because this is the bottom floor. You want to be able to work down here for pretty much making your crates and stuff without running out of space. You don't really need a whole lot of space here. So let's go ahead and switch over to snow because I am going to be using snow. You can pick whatever black color. You don't have to use snow, okay? But I'm going to use snow because it just looks cool. And we're just going to put that there, and we're going to go across. And like I said, you could use any block. You can even use grass. You can use stone. I don't really care. I just like this because it looks different. It's going to be easier for you to follow along because things are, you know, still bright at night. It's just a better block. And I've run a lot of tests on this already. So this is like the 4th time I've built this thing. So what you're seeing is a little bit of experience on how to build it. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to go in 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. Let's go across. Let's do the same on the other side. This is where we're going to be dropping our watermelon. Pretty much a mirrored design, okay? So you're going to notice this is the left side, right side of the farm. Then we need to put something straight down the middle. And this is going to be a 3-block wide setup like that. And then we're just going to fill it in 3. And we're going to fill in these sides as 2. They're going to be 2 wide. Again, your frame is going to be 2 blocks wide. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to get grass. And then you'll notice I made kind of like an E on both sides, depending on how you look at it. They're facing each other, or it's an M or a W. I don't know. And then you're going to do this. It looks like a little claw, right? Like a bear claw or something. So you're going to have it that way. We're going to put our totems on this first row of grass like that. There's the watermelon totems. Crops are going to go on here. So we got to plow that. There we go. All plowed. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to put sprinklers on these. That's why we have these little slots. So you can see the sprinklers are going to cover that. We don't need any seeds down here. In fact, the only reason why you don't have 1 seed per totem is nighttime. So these are buffers. That's why we have extra seeds here, this row. This is for the nighttime action. Otherwise, during the day, this is plenty. But the problem is at night, it gets crazy. It wants to produce. All right, so obviously they need water, so we can get water tanks. Just put those right in front of each of these like that. Looks good. And then we're going to put conveyors here. We're going to use fast conveyors. I was going to say you don't have to, but you do because watermelons are still bugged on conveyors that are slow. I don't know why they still get stuck on conveyors. Now, this build is going to be pretty expensive. You can start, like, you can still build some stuff like this, but this is going to be a really expensive build, okay? This is something you can aspire to. You can certainly make, like, 1 layer of this at least. Like, even if you make 1 layer of this, it's going to be really, really powerful. I'm only using 10. That's 20 seeds. I did math. Easy math, right? 1 + 1 = 50. So yeah, you got it. But yeah, so anyway, you know, this is kind of, you know, the totems aren't too bad. These are really cheap. You can even craft these. You can go and get the resources for these really easy. The watermelon seeds you can pretty much just buy from Cletus over probably about I would say about maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks, or you can use alts and you could probably get them all in one day. And then these are kind of a pain. The tier, you know, you can just go and buy these from shops, but they're kind of a pain. They're expensive. It does take a while. The main thing is just like the metals and stuff. That's the expensive thing. I did slow down on a lot of that, like the plates, the bolts, things like that. It does get very pricey. Same with the gears, pink sticky gears and such. The wood is the easy part. You can farm a ton for them. Now, don't pay mind to the color of stairs I use. It's just going to be marble. It's going to be a little off from the snow, okay? But it's still white. It's still a light color. It still works, okay? I mean, my OCD kind of triggered, my mild OCD. I don't have full OCD, okay? My mild OCD triggered when I was putting these stairs because they don't match perfectly, but I like them. It's the closest thing. Now we need to add our upgrades. So these are gonna all look like kind of yellow after I'm done with them, but you're not gonna do a utility. We have a separate totem for utility, and I'll explain why that. Those are all upgraded. Now what we need to do, we need to do quality. So let's go and do that now. So these are all yellow now. And of course, the other thing I forgot to tell you is you do need money. If you don't have money, this won't be possible. It's not that bad though. The other thing we are gonna need is fertilizer though, and then we're gonna obviously need our watermelon seeds, but we're not gonna do that yet. Let's go and finish this next floor. And so what we're gonna do is we're just gonna line this straight up. We're gonna go up 4. There's 4 right there. In fact, let's go and get rid of it. It's just gonna be 3 because we have blocks, but it is 4 blocks. So if you're gonna use the same blocks, it's 4 up, but it's gonna be 3 for us because we're gonna go to snow next. And then we're just gonna follow the same exact design. So it matches the bottom, right? So we're just pretty much copying this. Now this farm's gonna be huge, by the way. Like, I'm just showing you like some basics. Now this is the part where I told you, remember in the example where you can get up to like 10 yield? This is very important. So we do have some totems we need to put into the middle area, and it's gonna be 9 totems, okay? They're all unique. You have to do them on each layer here. One thing to note, these berry bush totems do not count as crop totems. So you can't use them. You can't use the red berry one. You can't use the blackberry or the blueberry ones. You have to use actual crop totems. I don't know why that's the case, but I think it's because they removed them from the game. They don't count. The last one's going to be the wheat. So we'll put in 1 wheat on all of these. So let's go ahead and drop down. So what we're going to do is we're just going to put these in the middle. Doesn't matter what order you do. There's going to be 6 of them on this first row. And then next one, you can just put like in the middle somewhere, like right here, here, and then don't forget the wheat. So we're going to swap out the star for wheat real quick. So there should be 9 totems. Then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put star there, and then we can just do the rest. It's very important that they're unique, if you haven't gathered that by now. Okay, so we got all those in. This should be 9, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, that's 9. If you're trying to get the list again, it's carrots. So a carrot totem, it's going to be a tomato totem, a onion totem, a pineapple totem, potato totem, pumpkin totem, radish totem, wheat totem, and then obviously the star fruit totem. Those are the only crop totems in the game. If they were to introduce one more totem, then you would want to add it to this list. So you could just put it in the missing slot here and just keep adding it to your farms so you get that extra bonus. So we've got 9 of those here. Now things are going to definitely increase in yield. So each time, you farm your watermelon, you're going to get that more yield. The other thing you want to be running is, when you can, is the avocado toast. Okay, so that means you're gonna have to be kind of active in the game every 14 minutes to take advantage of that. So next thing we need to do, we need to upgrade in our middle section here. So it's important that you do the middle floor, second floor, not third. So this would be 1, 2, not 3. So second floor, what you want to do is you want to increase the crop growth rate. Only the middle row, by the way, not these 2. Only the this middle row. There should be 6 totems in the middle and only the middle floor. What's going to happen is these are going to cover all of these crops and all of these crops, so you don't have to spend so much. It's going to save you so many totems, and this makes it, if you're saving totems, it means you can build more farms. If you're saving seeds, then you can build more farms, right? Makes sense. Hopefully it makes sense. Now, if you had a ridiculous amount of money and didn't care about lag and didn't care about the size, and then you're just like, well, this is as many as I want to do, I'm making plenty, then go for it. Upgrade whatever you want. You can max these out. You can make them all blue if you want. I don't really care. It's my tutorial, not yours. Now, if you're going to go and try to buy more, materials to upgrade these, it's very costly. It's a ton of wood. It's just as much, it's a bunch of coins still. You may as well just buy the seeds, okay? So that's why I'm saying just go with this route. Now you can see only these are upgraded, not the extras on these sides. Those aren't needed, like I said. Now what you're going to find is this is going to affect this floor as well as the floor under it. It's close enough. It's in range, okay? So this is a big sphere. It's in range. Now that we have that, we can go and start planting our crops because it's kind of fun to see them falling on us while we're working. So let's go ahead and plant all these. So now we're going to make this way bigger. So we're going to speed ahead, and I'm going to show you the aftermath. So I finished the build, and I've been farming for a couple days now. I had to make a couple tweaks. I didn't really want to, keep making adjustments to my design over and over and over. And I really wanted to optimize and make sure I actually had a build that was going to make over $1 billion per day. And this build here does make over $1 billion per day, and that's without avocado toast. So if you were to use avocado toast, this farm would make so much more. It'd probably make about 1.2 plus. The downside is avocado toast is a lot to manage, okay? Because you can't really macro it very easily. You can macro it. I haven't actually done it yet, but I will probably try that in a future video. You know, I'll macro this, but I did have to make a bunch of changes. So what you saw in the previous build here, me showing you how to do this, I did make some tweaks, and it was mainly the bottom part here that I made tweaks to. Pretty much everything else is the same, but what I did find is I had to adjust this part here because, you know, using the stairs was actually causing a lot of despawn. And so what you're going to see with this version, and I'm going to show you how to build this again. Don't worry, I will show you the full steps on how to build this out, but you'll see that I'm putting a lot more crate packers here. Technically, I could make it so it's just one, but I just like having more of them. It's just easier. By the way, on this build here, you might see that I have some extras up here. This is just because I didn't make another floor or section, so you don't really have to do 4 levels. You can do 3 levels. You just have to add one more section at the end and you're good. I thought about making additional sections to this and adding even more, which I could do because I don't really have any despawn issues right now. So the main thing you're going to notice is how my crate packers are set up in here. So you can see right here, we got all the conveyors just as we had before. So before it was kind of like a V-shaped bucket. The V-shape just switched over this way. And then what we're going to see is I don't have much for them to like fall or bounce around, and they go straight into that packer. As soon as they reach this, they are pretty much going straight into the packer. That reduces the despawn by a lot because there's not much time for it to fall down. It falls down. It takes maybe like, I would say 1 second or a little bit over a second before they get into the crate packers, and then we get it. So I'm going to show you what I've done so far off this account. You can see you just make so much. Like I'm already at 100,000 right now. That's so crazy. We're getting close to like doing almost 3 billion. And these are all from my farm. Now I can optimize this a little bit further, and I will be. So this is going to be, I'm going to consider this like 1.0 of my farm, and I will also be expanding on it because I have so much money now. I'm going to be buying a lot more supplies, and we're just going to revise this all together. So I have 116,000 crates now. Again, that's, you know, think about the math there. It is 27,000 per crate. I just made so much money off this. So let's go ahead and drop off. So we're going to go all the way back to the end to see how many crates we've made, just so you can see how much I made while I was harvesting. So we got 2 more crates already while I was just harvesting. So I just did that run down there, and in the time of doing that run, I made 50,000 coins just off that packer. Here's another one. Here's 2, 3. So I have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Look at, I just did a run through here. 1 on that one, 1 on that one. So probably give that another second or 2 and they'll come through. There we are. So grab that one. This one's 1 drop away, and there we go. So that's 2 for that one. So yeah, it's insane how fast these things go. I swear it is so fast. So you do 1 run down here and then you have another set. So and you can see how many packers I've got. I have like 26 packers going on this. But let's go over to Dom real quick. And if we were to sell all these crates, this is how much money we'd make. 3.1 billion. That is a lot of money. Now, if you're on a private server, you're fine. You can go and sell them all. Otherwise, if you're on a public server, just do like 50,000 crates at a time. Otherwise, you're going to be experiencing some pain. You're going to lose all that money. So make sure you're just doing like 50,000 crates at a time. It's an easy number. It's like 1.37 billion or something like that. So we're just going to go over here to Dom real quick. We're going to go and sell those. So you can see I have 3.1. Dude, look at all the economy XP I just got. But I'm already maxed. So now we're going to come back over here. Just make sure you don't do this on a public server, because if you come back to your island, you're going to lose all that money. All right, so we put the rest in that vending machine. If you're going to do this, you have to auto-click really fast to be able to get past the limit. So according to Slow, the most you could put in a vending machine is going to be 7 billion, at least in the blue ones. And so if you're going to do this, make sure you only put 7, max of 7 billion in here, or else it's going to probably hit a limit or remove it. On the other hand, if you're using a yellow like the standard machine, just make sure you only have 1.5 billion or less than that. So I'm going to go and put the rest of this in here to get it off my character. 5.5 billion coins between these accounts already. That's how much this has been working for me. So I'm getting rich very quickly. Now, of course, there's going to be a lot of players upset about this farm. This farm did cost a lot to make, not only for me, but also a lot of these materials, like I said, got donated by Slowblocks. So thank you, Slow, for the help and support. Definitely helped. Now, for the big question is, DV, how do I make this myself? I'm ready to go. I believe this is the way to go. This is end game for me. I really want to make your farm. Well, I will give you the ingredients for this section here. So see this section, these 3 floors, I will give you this setup here so you can actually make it yourself. So I'm going to tear this down. I'm going to show you how to make it yourself. That way, if you're interested in making it, you know how much it's going to cost. It is only going to be these 3 floors, or even just, well, I'll just give you a better example, these 3 floors, because it's not going to have a 4th floor. Okay, it's not going to be like this. This is just an afterthought for me. So I'm going to give you what it would take to build this right here, as well as the 2 packers below. Now, to expand on it, it's real easy. You can see I just got a little separator here, just a wall. So you can pretty much separate them just like that and just keep chaining it all the way across, as many as you want. Ideally, I would say probably go no more than 14 of those. But I'm going to show you, I'm going to take down one of these farms here, and I'm going to show you the process if I wanted to add to it, okay? So we're going to take this down, and then I'm going to rebuild it. All right, so I took out this middle section so I can show you how to build it yourself, and we're going to completely rebuild this, okay? So I'm going to show you from start to finish. Now, it is 15 wide, so what we're going to be doing here is I'm just going to go ahead and go somewhat in the middle here. And because we're doing 15 wide, I'm only going to go 7 this way and 7 that way, with the middle being number 15. So I'm just going to line it up with this conveyor here. So it's going to be 8 by 15. And so we're just going to fill this into 8 now. So now I'm going to be removing most of this. I'm just kind of giving you the idea of the floor because this is the base part, right? So your base doesn't need to be like this. What I like to do, you might notice my island's not like the prettiest because I like minimalistic designs in that I don't like too many blocks. If you start adding too many blocks to your island, what happens is it gets really slow to load. We already have so many entities on here. It also starts lagging. So you're going to notice a lot less blocks. Now, I am going to start decorating this at the end of this video. So I'll do that after this, but let's go ahead and start filling this in now. One thing to note, our floor is going to be up here, okay? So I'm just going to go ahead and connect this. This bottom part's for our collector, basically our packer. So we can get rid of all of this and just kind of go across. And then we're going to put a wall here because it's going to be separating. So let's go ahead and separate this like that. We have a wall because this is a completely separate collector. All right, there we go. So we got a frame here, and we're not going to share this. We're going to create our own. So we can go ahead and put a slot here on this side and a slot here on this side, and it should be 6 wide. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's your pocket. And then we can go ahead and do a similar wall here in advance of our packer. And it's just going to be pretty much 4 blocks for now. So this is where the conveyors are going to go. So the next thing we need to do is get our grass out here. So let's get some grass. And it is currently winter, so we're going to go and put that across. I like winter right now because it looks cool. So we're going to go 3 with this, like that. And then we're going to fill this middle part in so it'll look like this. Next thing what we need to do is we can put a frame here just so we, kind of tighten this up a little bit. This is going to be the next floor. And what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate what we did here in a minute. But first things first, we need to cut these 2 out because remember this is where the sprinklers are going to go, like that. And now we can go up. So next thing we need to do is just make another frame. So we're going to do only 3 floors. That is the farm design. It's just 3 floors. Now you can use slime blocks. If you're just trying to get up to places, just use slime blocks, but I'm just too lazy to do that right now. Next thing we need to do is get our conveyors out and such. But first, let's jump down here and let's finish up our collectors because as much as I want to start building the farm, I do want to, close some of this stuff off. So let's go ahead and build our stairs down here. Now you can use any kind of stairs you want. I'm going to use marble stairs because they are the closest thing that looks like snow, even though it's kind of like a dirty snow. It's still close enough. There's that. Now how this works is you only have 2 stairs on this side right here. And then on the other side, you're going to do 3. And you only have to do it on the bottom. These stairs only go on the bottom for your collectors like that. So there's 3 on that side. And then we got to do 3 right here. 2 and 3. So we got 3 there. And we're going to block the bottom of that as well as this. Just 1 block in the front because we still got to fit the conveyor and stuff in there. All right, so we got all the floors set up. Now let's go ahead and set up the packers real quick. So I'm just going to fill this in so we have a place to put them. And then what we're going to do is we're going to first put a conveyor down. And I like to use tier 2s because the conveyors are kind of weird on how they handle watermelons. So they can get stuck with regular conveyors. So I like to use tier 2s. Anytime you're dealing with watermelons, you kind of want to stick with those tier 2s. And we're just going to stick this. You only need 1 conveyor in here. And you just stick the crate packer right there. Make sure before you forget, scroll down and make sure you have large crate of melon selected. You don't want it to be like stuck on wheat or something stupid because then you're not gonna make any watermelon crates. So same with this one. Let's scroll down, set the watermelon, and then we're going to fill in the block so that watermelons don't fly out. And then obviously we need to capture the crates that we make. So we're going to put a output chest. You don't have to use this thing. It just fits really nicely because it can fit 150 in each slot. That's why I like these. You can use a regular input output chest if you really want to, but I would just use these because you're going to be farming a lot of crates. All right, so next thing, now we got these collectors. That's the most boring part of this design is having to deal with that. So I just wanted to show you how to do that. Next up, let's go ahead and put our conveyors out and we can get started on this. It's pretty much the same design we already went through. So if you already went through this, you're pretty much good to go. And I've seen a lot of different watermelon farm designs, to each their own. I don't think any one is better than the other. What I like about my design, the reason why I designed it this way is to reduce the amount of materials required so that you don't have to, because they're very expensive to build, and also to reduce the time it is for making it. So building it is a lot faster. This is an easy pattern to follow. It is is not super complicated where, you know, totems are like V-shaped or weird, you know, or you got to offset these conveyors. And especially when you're doing videos as a content creator, it's really hard to explain really complicated designs. That's why I made this as simple as possible. And it's perfectly timed. I spent so many hours testing this and it works pretty well. Now, when you do this, make sure you do this quick. You got to put your fertilizer on this right away before they grow, or else it's a pain. So make sure you put some fertilizer right after that. Alternatively, you could do fertilizer first before you plant seeds down. That's probably a better order of business. In fact, that's what we're going to do for the next floor. All right, so all the upgrades are in. So you can see the floor is ready to go. It's pretty much done. So that is the identical to all my other floors. I want to explain the ingredients required. That way you have a reference. So you can always come back to this video anytime if you're trying to find how much you really need. So with this checklist, I'm going to be excluding like stairs and glass and grass and things like that. So if you're going to, you know, use whatever blocks you want, obviously you do need some grass, but I'm not going to include that because at this point, if you can afford to do the farm, you can afford to get those blocks. I'm not going to worry about those. Also, I'm going to be rounding up a lot of these things. Like instead of giving you like precise numbers of wood, I'm going to round up a little bit. So you're going to have a little extra at the end of this. It's not going to be a ton of extra, but it's going to be just enough for you to be able to, you know, at least use for future expansion. So we're going to go ahead and start with gears. You're going to need 170 pink sticky gears. That's a lot, I know. Pink sticky gears are not cheap. Let me tell you, I mean, for the most part, imagine if they're like 500,000 a piece. You're spending quite a bit already, right? That's a lot of money already. But you can always grind for these or trade for them. Next up are blue sticky gears. You're going to need 1,100 of those. For green sticky gears, a little easier, a little cheaper to get. You're going to need 1,540 of green sticky gears. Now, this one's going to blow your mind. You're going to need 792 gearboxes. That's a lot of gearboxes, right? But trust me, you're going to make a lot of this money back. So yeah, they're definitely expensive. This is probably the most expensive piece on this list is your gearbox bunch, because that's a lot of gearboxes. Next up, you're going to need 920 copper bolts. You're going to need 880 copper plates. You're going to need 170 steel rods, 2,600 iron. That's pretty easy to get. You're going to need 92,000 maple wood, 116,000 hickory wood, 53,000 pine wood, 80,000 birch wood, 91,000 regular wood, so oak wood. You're going to need about 85 million coins to be able to upgrade the actual totems. That's not the cost of the farm. That's just what you need to put into the totems as part of upgrading. You're going to need 60 watermelon seeds. You'll need 60 fertilizer for those seeds. You're going to need 36 watermelon totems for those 3 floors. You're going to need 38 tier 2 conveyors. And then you're going to need 2 crate packers. You could probably combine this into one if you just really want to. And then you're going to need 12 water catchers. These are pretty cheap to make. You're going to need 12 sprinklers. And then you're going to need 3 of each of these totems. It's going to be the potato totem, carrot totem, pineapple, radish, starfruit, tomato, pumpkin, onion, and wheat totem. And then lastly, you need some kind of input-output chest. You know, I would get the large ones if you can afford them. Otherwise, just a standard is fine. So you'll need 2 of those. Again, the most expensive piece out of all of this that I found was the gearbox. They're really hard to come by. But that's going to be it for us. Like I said, a lot of people are going to be angry about this video because of the fact that this is really an in-game build. This is going to make you really, really rich very quickly. Granted, not everyone's going to be able to do it. This is an in-game build, like I said. If you have any questions, shoot them in the comments below. Otherwise, I'm going to get to decorating because this is kind of ugly. So also, I did make one of these farms for my co-op, so you might see a video on that pretty soon. So thanks again for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.
It's the last thing that I need. Wanna feel something.